Welcome to the Modern Manifestation Podcast. I'm your host, Bree Brown, a business mindset coach, entrepreneur, and a top competitor in a male-dominated industry. I'm a native Texan, the youngest of all brothers, and a lettuce-hating, wine-loving, curses-like-a-sailor recovering perfectionist. I've spent over a decade building my commission-based career, and my life's purpose is helping other women achieve the same multi-six-figure success I achieved before I was 25. I have a passion for helping women with mindset, money, and manifestation skills to help every young woman realize her full potential. If you're looking for vulnerable conversations, professional development, inspiration, or even a kick in the ass to get you motivated, you have come to the right place. Thanks for checking out the Modern Manifestation Podcast. Now let's jump right in to today's topic. Hello, everyone. I hope you are having a fantastic week. And if you are celebrating the holidays, happy holidays. Today, I want to talk to you about something that you should be doing every day, every morning. Today's topic is the power of complimenting yourself. And this is a topic that I bring to you as a lesson that I learned earlier this month. So Evan and I had our 5th anniversary together on December 4th. And since we couldn't go anywhere, we opted for a celebration at home. So we went out and got a charcuterie board. We had our favorite cheeses, our favorite champagne. We got out the nice champagne glasses from our wedding. We were watching our anniversary video. And I'm also a whiskey gal, so I had a couple of old fashions to top off the champagne that we had. And you might know where this story is going already, but the next morning was less than ideal for myself. I was dehydrated. I was feeling run down, just not quite as sprite as I like to be at this point in my life. And so I walk into the bathroom that morning and I began taking visual inventory. You know, you start noting all those things that you need to quote unquote correct. And I wasn't consciously doing this, but I found myself thinking things like, man, I need to pack on some moisture today. I need to cover up those dark circles under my eyes. Where's my concealer? Definitely could use some eyebrow tweezing. Oh, I really need to get that workout in today. I'm looking a little bloated from last night, etc., etc., etc. I was in the middle of this just stream of unconsciousness when I finally realized and had a moment of aha where I was like, what am I doing? I had this huge moment of reflection. And thankfully, the universe just came pounding down on my head and was like, what are you doing? And I stopped myself and had to ask, how long have I been doing this? How many mornings have I unconsciously gone into the bathroom, turned on the light, looked in the mirror, and gone through this motion? How many negative thoughts have I had about myself during this daily routine that I've been repeating every day for God knows how long? Is this how I really want to start off every morning? And of course, the answer to all these things is no, absolutely not. That is not an energetic alignment with the life that I'm trying to create. And what's hilarious for me is that I had this moment of clarity while I was feeling anything but clear-minded at that point. It was funny that it took this moment where it just dawned on me what was happening. So I looked in the mirror and I said out loud to myself, because again, I'm trying to get my thoughts right. And I just said, I am beautiful. I am perfect the way I am. I approve of myself. I am enough the way I am. And I started feeling proud for making another positive shift. Because no matter how long you work to be better, sometimes these old routines will just keep creeping up on you. But they're creeping up so that you can have an opportunity to address them. So view them as an opportunity to grow, because that means that you still have some internal work to do. We're human beings. We will always have internal work to do. And as small as that shift was for me, I was still really proud that I was able to stop myself while going through this bad routine. And I was able to correct that behavior. And now I can be more mindful in the mornings and work to establish a new habit. And it's funny because this one caught me completely off guard. But it was such a surreal moment that it has inspired me to give myself daily affirmations in the morning. So that's a time where I have the ability to do that and give myself that love. And those affirmations were great. I don't know if you've ever read Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life book. Phenomenal book. And she talks about saying any version of affirmations to yourself 1,000 times a day, every day. And on the millionth time, you will finally start to believe that affirmation. So she talks about saying these things thousands of times a day, literally. Because again, the millionth time is when you will start to believe it. So aim to give these beautiful messages to yourself often. So I'm going through my routine, washing my face, brushing my teeth, taking my time with my face oils, and then I have this thought that's like, I really like my eyes. And my initial gut reaction, even though I've gone through these affirmations and I'm trying to already work on correcting those thoughts, but that initial gut reaction was just a feeling of guilt for admitting that to myself. You know what I mean? Like my Southern ladylike qualities seeped through, and all I could hear were the words of the women in my family that came before me being like, oh, that's not very ladylike. That's not very modest of you. Or, oh, how humble, with an eye roll behind them. I had this immediate shame around the fact that I liked something about myself. And that feeling was so shocking that I had to stop and sit with that for a second. Why in the world would I feel embarrassed for admitting what I like about myself? Why do so many women tend to have shame about this? And with all the work that we do on ourselves and continue to do on ourselves, how can I still have those kinds of thoughts? And I think it's okay to know that. And I think it's okay to reflect on that, to become aware, and just use this as an opportunity to grow and to move forward. Because you know what? We're not perfect and we never will be. So I had to take my humbled ass over to my journal and I had to write about this, which then became the script for this podcast episode. And I realized that there is no reason I shouldn't be able to appreciate something about me or even compliment something about myself. I am a Texan woman who was beat down with the rules on modesty and humbleness and what it meant to be a lady. But these rules aren't serving me anymore. Humbleness and modesty is the language of suppression. We can own our worth, and we can know our worth. The universe would never want me to dim my own light or hide my positivity in any form from anyone, including myself. And then I was like, well, why am I not complimenting myself more? And with that, I went from affirmations to straight up power complimenting myself. Fuck being conceited. Love your damn self. Because if you can't love yourself, how will you show anyone else how you expect to be loved, how you want to be loved? You need to learn to love yourself before you can get it from outside sources. So you know what? I love my eyes. I think they're very pretty. I also love my prematurely gray hair and my collarbone. That's probably a really weird part of the body to like, but I do. I really enjoy my collarbone. How much positivity can we bring to our lives with more of this self-complimenting? How many more people will notice my eyes and, my collarbone because I notice them and because I think they're beautiful? Maybe you're way ahead of me and already had this realization. Is there a part of your body that you love and therefore you get complimented on it all the time? How much of that is a reaction to your own pride about it because you know that part of your body's worth already? Own your favorite parts of you. Compliment them often. Extend that positivity to the rest of you too, though. I always hated, past tense, my nose in the past, and I would call it a witch's nose because of some mean bully in elementary who started calling it a witch nose for me. And so I had this really bad idea about what my nose was and how one day I might get a nose job is like what I would say when I was in like freaking junior high. So I've clearly moved past that, and I have learned to embrace this part of me and realize that it's not a witch's nose. And now I give extra attention to my nose and compliment it daily too, because the parts that I used to hate need my love the most. I need to love every part of me, even the things that made me vulnerable in the past. So when you look in the mirror every morning, what is that internal dialogue running through your head? What are your thoughts? Pay attention to them, and when needed, refer back to this episode. And then expand beyond the physical. What are your favorite things about your personality? What makes you, you? What is it about yourself that you love? Love every version of you and compliment that bitch often, because she's amazing. Compliment yourself as much as you compliment friends and strangers. Not flattery, compliments. In fact, do it more, because by ratio, you spend more time with yourself. The math checks out. I promise. I married a math major. Replace the habit of berating yourself or talking down on yourself with compliments instead. This is a huge energetic difference. One is the voice of hate, and the other is the voice of love. Who could you be if you approved of every part of yourself? How much more complete would you feel if you gave yourself everything you needed to hear instead of waiting for another person or another relationship to fill this gap? Complimenting is a great positive energy boost. When you compliment yourself and others, you're sending that message out into the universe, and you will get more of that energy in return. As Louise Hay says in her book, compliments are gifts of prosperity, the language of abundance. Allow the positive energy that comes from your giving compliments to yourself and to others to extend into your life. Allow this energy to be another resource for your manifestations. Allow this positive energy to consume you and to help you. Compliments are beautiful and they feel good because they are in alignment with the universe. Compliments are the language of abundance. That is all I have for you guys this week. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. I hope you're having a fantastic rest of your year. And as always, if you enjoyed this episode, I would really, really appreciate it if you would rate, review, and subscribe, and then share this episode with any friend or family member that you think could really benefit from this message. That is going to be the best way to help this podcast reach more users, which will in turn tell me which messages are resonating the most with y'all. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic rest of your week, and I will catch y'all next Monday. Until then, go out there and manifest some miracles. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this podcast, hit subscribe so you can stay up to date with new episodes. As always, we would love it if you would share this episode with friends and family who could use the inspiration. As a new podcast show, we would really appreciate your honest feedback so I know what you like and what you could use more of. As a thank you for leaving us a rating, we will send you our 7 weekly tips to create space for abundance. Make sure you screenshot your review and email it to us at hello@themodernmanifestation.com so we can send them straight to your inbox. If you'd like to stay connected, you can find us on Instagram or Facebook at Modern Manifestation, or you can head to our website at themodernmanifestation.com. Thanks again for joining me, and I will catch y'all in the next episode.